guys, welcome to episode 30 of the MMA Wales podcast with me, Ricky Wright, Adrenaline Fight Night promoter James Wallace, and the reigning defending Cage Warriors bantamweight champion of the world from Abertillery, Jack Tank Shaw.
Nice, Rick. Nice.
I wonder if he'll ever get to call your name again.
Nah, but he'd be Bruce Buffer be calling.
That's what I mean. It's a funny one, isn't it? I wonder if he'll ever get to do it again.
That's it. I've always wondered that about certain fighters, and then they go to the UFC and they get cut. But like Tank's not getting cut.
Oh, touch wood.
You get cut away.
It's a big giant wooden table.
If he gets cut away, Jack Shaw.
Jack Shaw has been. That's what you're saying then.
So welcome to the show anyway, Jack. How have we been?
Yeah, all good. Just busy training, dieting. You know, I had a busy couple of months, obviously, tail end of last year with fight. You know, I think it was the 29th of September, and then 8 weeks later I fought again. So a little bit hectic. Not I mind. You know, I like to stay active whilst I'm injury free. A couple of weeks chill out over Christmas and back to it. Back on the grind, as they say.
You're very close together with them fights, weren't they? I mean, I know the first fight didn't happen. The fight, obviously, the fight went away, so it was finished in the first round. But it was a different opponent.
Yeah.
With 24 hours notice.
I guess it's the way you've always been, though. You've always trained, you've always been in shape. You don't take long breaks in between. And it's like amateur boxers, for instance, they're told you've always got to be on weight, you've always got to be fit because you could be called up at any moment to fight. And it's a good approach. I mean, not a lot of people follow that way. And I mean, if the opportunity come tomorrow, a massive opportunity, you'd probably be fit enough to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, cool. It's something I've always done, you know, right away from amateur. I think my last year as an amateur, I had 7 fights in 11 months. So
Yeah.
obviously I've been busy. And even as a kid, you know, I was doing grappling comps every 2-3 weeks between my amateur boxing and before going on to amateur MMA. So, you know, it's quite a short-lived career, I think. You know, realistically, I don't want to be fighting into my 40s or even into my late 30s. So, you know, I want to get the cage time in whilst I can, honestly, climb the ladder as quick as I can, you know, make my money and sort of get out there. And I say that as if I'm, you know, it sounds as if I'm rushing it a bit and I don't enjoy it. Also, I love doing it. For me, it's too tough a sport. It demands too much from you to do it and not enjoy it. You know, you can't sort of be 1 foot in, one foot out. But, you know, it is short-lived. You know, you don't see many top guys staying at the top for long periods of time. There's not many, you know.
It's not that sport, is it?
They're there for 2-3 years at the most. So, you know, my plan's always been stay busy as long as I'm not injured and as long as I'm, you know, I haven't got no other commitments. I'll continue to stay active.
So you turned pro, what, about 3 years ago now?
Yeah, 2016.
And it's been a hell of a ride so far. I mean, you've come through the ranks pretty quickly, and now you're, as far as the domestic scene, the domestic European scene, you're top of the tree on Cage Warriors. Obviously, the Cage Warriors Bantamweight World Championship is a big belt. You know, you think of people who've had that belt, Brett Johns, then the other weight classes, featherweight, Conor McGregor was once a 2-weight world champion. Do you feel like the Cage Warriors Bantamweight title is the ticket to the big leagues, to the UFC? Yeah,
I think so. Not just, obviously, you know, you have a lot of other things to go with it. You know, you do see Cage Warriors champions who obviously don't go into the UFC, but I think as long as you're performing the way I do in the sense of you're getting the finishes and, you know, you're looking good doing it, obviously then it is sort of your golden ticket. I think some people see it as the be all and end all, hence why I'm getting called out probably every 2 days on Twitter when I haven't got a fight lined up. So it's nice to have that, so to speak, the golden ticket, but obviously there's a lot of not pressures, but a lot of scenarios that come with it as well. You know, there's a lot of responsibility.
Because you've been offered a UFC contract previously, but you've turned it down. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was. People seem to think it was recently, and, you know, I turned it down because I wanted to stay sort of with Cage Warriors. It was basically it was when Marshman and Brett first signed. I was 3-0. I just fought on Cage Warriors, and they camped the Graham 4 weeks before Brett and Jack's debut for a featherweight, and obviously he sent them a list of his clientele, and I was obviously on there, and they mentioned about me. But looking back, you know, at the time I wanted to jump at it, but obviously that's why I got people like my old man and Graham around me to to keep me grounded. Because looking back, you know, if me now fought the guy who had the UFC call back in 2016, it probably wouldn't last 2 minutes. You know, I would destroy the 10-0 Jack show would destroy the 3-0 Jack show.
Even with the weight difference.
Even with the weight difference, yeah. Even with the weight difference. So it was the right decision. And I do. Yeah, I've got to give a lot of credit, obviously, to the people around me, my coaches and my managers, and even my family and friends. You know, because as a young kid at 21, I could have just jumped at that. You know, all guns blazing, and especially Graham. You know, he could have cashed in on me. You know, you think as my manager, he'd obviously have a cut of the money I would have been out in the UFC. He could have cashed his check then, but obviously it was nice to see that he got my best interest at heart, and I think that's still the case now.
Like you train your boxer with Gary Lockett, and Gary has a lot of young prospects. He has an approach when building his fighters to tick as many boxes as possible, and every fight up a level. Your career has panned out the same way. Every new opponent was not too far out of your reach, but a step up, and it offered something different. And you've got a 12-0. And I'm looking at your record now, and the guys you've beaten, they seem to get harder and harder, but you seem to deal with them like better and better every time. Do you feel like...
Yeah, it's like I've always said, you know, I'm not the most outspoken or whatever, but I've always, whenever asked about fights, I honestly feel the better level of opposition you put in there with me, then the better I'll perform. Like you look back to my amateur record then. I was 3-4-0. I fought one of the Figlack brothers who was 8-0, you know, never been touched.
At the time, everyone was
like, oh, that's a tough fight for him to take, you know, and just went through him. And then you look at my run in the IMAF. Obviously, that's, at the time, it was only, so it's the IMAF then wasn't what I was. I think the IMAF Euros then was big time. Do you know what I mean? It was where everyone was. And I had 3 first-round finishes. I fought a guy in the final who's I don't want to try and pronounce his name and bug him off. You would probably know him.
Nielant Kemislo.
But he's you know, and I mean and keep in touch now. He's a big guy. Is he on there? That's him.
Nielant Kemislo.
And he's a good guy, but he's a big. He told me after the fight he cut something like 5 kilos just to fight me on the same day, and I think his record at the time was 11-2 or something. And I dominated him. The one Bulgarian kid I fought, he went...
Ferdun Osmanov.
He went in... He went on to win... You probably know better than me, but I think he went on to win Worlds and Europeans.
Yeah,
he was pound for pound rank 1
He won back-to-back Europeans, Ferdun.
So, you know... And then obviously look at the pro record then. Every time I've stepped up, I've dealt with it. You know, I was 4-0. I fought Conman Day. You know,
that was a big step, yeah.
He was the Budo champion at the time, I think. And
he had a run of beating a lot of Welsh players as well.
He went on, he was something like, when I fought him, I think he was like on a 6-fight win streak. He'd beat Aidan Lee.
James Lilly.
Marley Swindell. He also had a good win against one of the Scouse boys, Elliot Jenkins. He sparked him out in the round. So, you know, even when I asked for that...
one-sided fight.
I asked for that fight, you know, and my old man tell you, I asked for the fight, and Ian and Graham were a little bit skeptical in the sense of, like, you know, is it too much too soon? And my old man said, let us worry about the fight and you worry about making the match. And, you know, the step up there paid off. And then even more recently, when I fought Ekendeo, everyone said, you know, I'm going to get manhandled. He's going to take me down. He's going to be too strong, too big. What am I going to do when I'm on my back? And I answered those questions as well.
About that fight with Ekendeo, that wasn't your game plan to wrestle him, was it? You looked like you wanted to light him up.
Yeah.
But then he initiated the wrestling, and it became so easy for you that...
Yeah. Well, obviously, the game plan was to go out there. I knew I would have the better of him in the wrestling exchange anyway, but he's a physical specimen, so the game plan was go out there, you know, stick and move him a little bit. If he gets the tie-up, obviously, just burn him out for the first round or two, you know, just be awkward. If he gets down, get back up. So... that was the game plan. Obviously, I hit the takedown on him early in the first round quite effortlessly, and I felt I had the clear strength advantage and the technical advantage.
So went with it.
Second round then, he did hit me with a good takedown, but once I got the reversal, and I think if you watch the fight back, I put a lot of punishment on him, even though I was only on top for 2 minutes. Yeah. I could sort of feel at the end now he was a little bit defeated, you know, he looked a little bit lost. And then in the third round, when I felt him initiate the clinch again, I could just feel he was tired, I could feel he was broken. You know, like you said, that we won the game plan, but it was working, so I just run with it, you know.
No, that's the ability, like we talk about Aaron Khalid a lot, the ability to switch a game plan up. But usually Aaron's on the back foot, then switches a game plan. But you were on the front foot and just thought, no, this is working. This is working. And
the thing I find with myself is I'm very confident in all areas. You know, I'm confident to stand with anyone in the division, confident to wrestle, confident to grapple. So to me, I don't go there. I say it was a game plan. I don't go there strictly thinking, right, this is what we're going to do. Obviously, you go there with
a general plan.
A general plan in your head, and I just run with it. I'm confident that, like you said, I wanted to stand, but as soon as we clinched up, I felt like I could nail him there. So
going back to that fight, going back to them 2 fights, because you were supposed to fight for the title on 97, which was September, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, within 24 hours of that actual fight happening, you found out there's a problem with your opponent. They changed your opponent. He's not going to make the weight to bantamweight. This is how I assume it happened. He's not going to make bantamweight. So the title's off. The fight's on. Now, I should imagine training for that fight on September 29th, it was probably awesome because you were fighting for the world title.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, within the 24-hour period, you're like, right, you've won a fight and you're fighting for the world title again in 3 months.
Yeah.
How different was the motivation training for Mike Agandeo than it was for a different opponent who you fought in September? Because to me, that would have been a little bit harder and worried me personally as a fighter. Like, am I up for this enough?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? How do you find that?
It was, well, firstly, the whole September thing was just a mad 24 hours. I cut a bit of weight in the night. Obviously, with kids, you don't wait till 3 p.m. So whenever I cut weight in the night, we get up in the morning and we don't rush because obviously you've got so much time. So it was about 11 a.m. and I said to my own, I think I had 3.5, 4 pounds, something like that. So I said to my old man, come on in, let's get down, get off. Start running the bath. I'm laid on the landing now in my boxer shorts waiting to go into the bath. And he said, stay down a minute. He said, I got some news for you. I thought, oh. And he said, yeah, Omar, whatever his name is out. Something to do with his brain scan.
Kankadesla.
Something to do with his brain scan. He out of his hands in all fairness. He was there. He was pretty much on weight. So
it was a brain scan, was it?
It was a brain scan. Yeah, basically he'd had the brain scan over in Germany. They'd all cleared it. They'd sent it over then. Safe MMA guys had translated it from German and seen there was a shadow on the brain or something. They sent him to see some guy and he was like, no, you can't take no headshot. So it was a mad 24 hours. Obviously the motivation then, or not the motivation, but the tactic then changed from you're fighting a guy now who you know nothing about, and then in the back of my head I'm thinking it's not for the belt. I've got to win this to fight for the belt in September. But at the same time, although I've got to get a win, I can't really be in a 3-round slugfest because I've got to fight again in 8 weeks. Yeah. So it was...
I've got to get him out of there.
It was, I've got to get him out of there, which is fortunately what I'd done,
And did you make the bantamweight?
I made bantamweight, yeah.
You didn't know...
But it ended up being at featherweight because obviously, he took the fight on such short notice. But you look at Wesley Meyer, you look back at it, he's legit, his striking is top notch, although his grappling's wasn't up to much compared to my standard. He's a good striker, a good Thai boxer.
And that's the thing, and it's like, right, don't stand with this motherfucker.
Yeah, that's it. That's my old man saying. Don't mess about, get him down, get him out of there. But then obviously, like you said, within 24 hours, then I knew I was fighting Ekindeo for the title.
Yeah, so it's like going back 10 weeks.
Yeah, so back 10 weeks. But the motivation was a little bit different because everyone was sort of writing me off, straight off the off, like on the Instagram comment. And I it doesn't bother me because I know that.
Did you feel like the champion?
To an extent, yeah. I thought I've done exactly the same. I done in the September fight. In my head, I would have done if it was for the belt anyway.
Looking back on it now, are you glad it happened like that? Instead of beating Kankadesla on like a relatively unknown guy on half an arena in Cardiff on like 97, but instead you won the title in a full arena in Cardiff on Cage Warriors 100, the landmark
Yeah.
event. Are you glad it played out like that?
Yeah, it was as if it was sort of written in the stars, because obviously went from fighting, like you said, relatively unknown European guy to all of a sudden now I'm fighting on the biggest card Cage Wars I've ever put on. Not only am I fighting on it, I'm fighting for a belt as the main event in front of the sold out arena card against a guy who's unbeaten and who they're saying is going to come and wipe me out. So the motivation, you know, a lot of people perhaps after what happened in September would have been a little bit demotivated then because they thought, I've done all that training and I'm not even the champion. Whereas to me,
it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it is hard.
It's like you've got the people around you and who know what to motivate you.
Whereas with me, it was seeing all the comments and seeing everyone, you know, like all the articles and listening to his interviews with his, you know, because I think he thought he was going kind of. Yeah. He was saying stuff before the fight, like.
The thing is, you've got England and Wales. He was the English guy, you're the Welsh guy, and when you've got that, there's a lot more people
rides on it,
and a lot more writers, for example. In England, we're going to back their guy.
Yeah, of course.
And that's why people are writing you off, because it's a smaller nation.
He's from Titan, wasn't he? So that's teammates of Brad Pickett and Nathaniel Wood. And you had Brad Pickett like saying, "Oh, he's the strongest guy I've wrestled with in the gym." Yeah,
and you know, I mean, it's in all fairness to Mike, he wasn't doing it in a disrespectful way. It was more of, you know, he was truly confident, I think, in himself that he would go in there and he would wipe the floor with me. But in my head, that just gave me the motivation because, you know, my old man and Parker and Gary were saying, you know, you're gonna shock everyone on the night, because I think people thought I was gonna win. People thought I was gonna win, but not the way I did. And you know, like you said, the fact that you had, he's the strongest bantamweight in the world, and in fairness, he had just beat Ed Arthur, who's two-time BAMMA world champion. What's the Sweden show, Superior FC or something? FC. You know, legit Ed Arthur. So, and he dominated him in all fairness. So, for me to go and do it like that, I think just opened a lot of eyes, as if to say, you know, maybe he is as good as the people around him are saying, and maybe it's not just hype that they're giving him to sell the Welsh shows.
So how many fights left on your Cage Warriors contract now?
I've got three left. Three fights left.
So including the 27.
Including the 27.
So they say you're not a real champion until you've defended your belt. If you're listening, Conor McGregor. So obviously your next fight is on the 27th of April in Cardiff again. You're going to defend your title. Tell us some more about that, your opponent, and what sort of training you got going into that.
So fighting Scott Malone, who's, in my opinion, is a worthy challenger, because although I think he's only 6-1 his record, you know, he's two-time Judo Commonwealth champion. His last two wins have been impressive. You know, he beat Singer, who's a legit prospect, IMAF champion, and obviously had a good win over Josh as well, round one. So it's on paper it's a tough fight, and it's one I'm not one of them. I take one fight at a time, so I'm not sort of overlooking him, thinking get him out the way now, move on to the UFC, or get him out the way. Perhaps a bigger fight will come ahead. It's not like that. It's I'm going in there fully fought exactly the same as I was for the Akindale fight. You know, I had everything to prove and win the belt. Now I've got everything to prove that, you know, I can defend the belt and I can, you know, keep dominating these guys who are so-called the next best thing underneath me. So he's got a very, very good style that obviously we're training for now, between my boxing and my wrestling, and obviously it's southpaw, so we got to adapt to that. But nothing's changed, like schedule-wise. You know, I'm still training with the same people, doing the same things. It's just working them fundamentals with the southpaw and obviously the judo background as well now.
So have you, because he's a judo expert, have you been training with other judo-based people? Yeah,
I've got, you know, if you watch his fights, I mean, as good as his judo is, he's more of a wrestler than he is a judo fight. You know, he's got a good double leg, he's got a good shoot. You know, you watch his fight with Singer, he's not much of a... His wrestling style is not judo oriented. Then, you know what I mean? It's
old school judo. He's legs.
Exactly. He's got a good double leg, good wrestling. So I've been training with, obviously we got Harry Evans in the gym now, who's ranked 1 at his weight in Wales in judo. Been a black belt a long time, so we're doing bits and bobs with him. But just training to wrestle heavy guys, really. Jack Tucker, you know, is perfect prep for me.
He's a little tank, isn't he?
He's you know, when I fought Hecandeo, we would call him Tuckandale or that because he is exactly the same. He's just obviously a lot bigger. So, you know, prepping with him.
That's what's good about, like, seeing the strengths in people in your gym as well.
Yeah, we've got strength and depth that people don't even know about.
Skills.
Like when people sort of say, "Oh, you training with?" I might say Jack Tuck. A lot of people want to know who he is because he's amateur and he's fighting on the local. So
when he wins the gold in Rome.
But you're going to hear about him eventually. That's what I mean. We got good strength and depth. We got a lot of high level amateurs. Boxing wise, I'm sparring with top level boys down Gary's.
Well, in Toledo Combat, you got a lot of guys who might never have had pro or even amateur fights, but they're really hard rolls. They're really hard spars.
Well, Grant Elliott as well is another guy I've been sparring with a lot. Is southpaw, good kickboxer, been kickboxing 10 plus years, good wrestler, big strong guy. I think, and he's only had 1 or 2 amateur fights. Owen Parry has been helping me out this camp as well.
That guy's strong.
He's gone off the radar like MMA wise last couple of years because he's had family and stuff like that. But he's brown belt, legit wrestler, high level judo as well. Sam Morgan, one of the old school guys from Blanavon, judo black belt. Been doing judo and wrestling a long time. So, like you said, they're not necessarily guys that you would think, that's
the thing with these.
When I say I'm training with Dez and Crazy Horse and stuff like that, people know him, so it's like, fair play. So when I mention these guys, they might not know who they are, but they legit and they're the same people have been getting me prepared for years. Because
you Dez and Crazy Horse, all 3 are bantamweights, all 3 very well known on the UK scene. Neither one of you are anything alike in terms of fighting style. You're totally different from each other. You're all good strikers, to be fair, but everyone's got a different strength.
Different styles, yeah.
And that's like a testament to the gym, really, where you get some gyms and you come in and they'll want you to fight the way the gym fights. But it shows that your gym, Toledo Combat, it takes the skills and goes along with the fighter's individuality and makes them fight as naturally as possible. So that, because you can't say, Toledo Combat, he's going to do this, he's going to do that, because Des and Josh and yourself are just all of you are unpredictable.
Well, I think, like you said, sort of you have some gyms, like you said, where they'll come in and they'll try and teach that style, but that can restrict people then sometimes. If you try to teach Josh then to be a back foot fighter, it's not going to suit his style because he can bang and he comes forward and he likes a tear up. Same with Des. Des isn't. You're never going to make Des into a slick boxer. Des is scrappy, good low kicks, and he's volume. Whereas me, I'm more counter strike, pick my shots, single shots, working my boxing. So everyone's got their own style in our gym, and you only got look at Marshman's style compared to my style. Polar opposites of each other. Look at look at the amateur boys, like the Tucker style, compared to someone like Peaky, Jordan Peake, who just turned pro. Again, completely different style. So it's like you can't restrict. I think gyms will sort of restrict to one style of doing it a little bit. Not wrong, because everyone has their own criteria for success. But in our gym, I feel the reason we got so many boys coming through is because it's. These are your coaches. You take what you can from each of them, but you still put your own little spin on it as well.
I think that's the trick to a good team, is finding people's strengths and letting them work on it and helping. Like, this is how you become a better counter striker, if that's what you are, or this is how you improve going forward because you're getting hit to these points. Yeah, and that's good coaching compared to when you do it, I guess, the same as the rest of us. Well,
the best example, one of the better examples we got is. Obviously, one of my head coaches now, Carl Parker, is gym affiliated with us, I think it was 2-3 years ago. And we always had good wrestling based on my old man anyway. But obviously, Carl's, that's his thing, catch wrestling and judo, stuff like that. So Carl started taking the wrestling class and everyone's wrestling went through the roof. So, but then when you got, my offensive wrestling went through the roof. You got people then like Marshman or people like Josh and that, who's defensively, then defensively they're not getting taken down now as easy as they used to, say, 3-4 years ago. So everyone can benefit from everything. We got
no, you're right, because like Chuck Liddell, for instance, his wrestling was underrated.
Because
people didn't use it.
He's not. He used
negative wrestler.
Yeah. We use it to get back up and use it to not. But people say, he's
which
not a wrestler.
Which you see a lot these days.
You've got to put your own little Gaethje. Yeah. He could come out and wrestle 90, apart from Khabib, probably 99% of the division. You come out, just take him down and pin him if you want.
Kick your leg.
But you'll kick your leg and try and take your just in Gaethje. Try and take your jaw off. So it's I think you've got to train people correctly, but you've got to let them put their own little spin on it as well. Everyone's got their own style. There's no good it's no good trying to. If you're a good level kickboxer, there's no point going to a wrestling gym and them telling you, you're gonna have to shoot every fight. It doesn't work like that.
No,
that's a really good way of good philosophy on coaching. Sorry, I'm trying to get my words out. The cold I am. Need to get the heaters on. You're us. Anyway, that was part 1. We'll be back for part 2 in just a moment. Thank you. Welcome back to episode 30 of the MMA Wheels podcast. Of course, we're still here with Jack Shaw. We've just spoken about his upcoming fight on Cage Warriors in Cardiff. This week and the previous weeks, there's been a lot of fights released on the undercard. Some unbelievable fights. Should we talk about them, guys? Should we go through them?
Yeah, so starting the pro card, obviously Ben Ellis is making his pro debut. Recently beat Scott Pedersen on the Academy card, which was a big fight.
Yeah.
Beating him, he's fighting Brad Evans, who everyone knows had a lot of fights in Wales. Yeah, I mean,
Brad serves a purpose.
He puts up a fight. He's always good. Like at featherweight, like I don't know, is Ben a big featherweight? I mean, like I thought.
Yeah, I don't think he's obviously one of these monster featherweights. Who you think, how's he making the weight? But he's not. I don't think he's going to be like Brad's small for featherweight. If we're being realistic, I don't think he's going to be a small featherweight. Ben, he's going to be your average size sort of featherweight.
Do you remember when we had Ben on the show and he said, they were toying with the idea of featherweight, so he decided to cut to featherweight over Christmas.
Yeah, he made featherweight over Christmas the same day he did.
Just
his head's gone.
Just over Christmas, it's gone. Someone put the featherweight idea in his head, and he's like, "Right, I've got to do this." So I was like, we were just looking at him like,
yeah,
really?
He had a nutritionist and that to help him do it, didn't he? So he basically he basically made featherweight by dieting over Christmas, so you can do it same day. So yeah, I mean, they probably maybe too. I don't know if he's a possible bantamweight, but yeah, he'd probably be bigger than Brad. Again, with this fight, it's one of them. Brad's got nothing to lose. Ben's making his debut as an undefeated
amateur. What you got to give to Brad is there's a lot of sort of journeyman out there who just come and roll over and that's but Brad, he comes to win. He does train all the time, and he's not one of these who just jumping in there for a quick payday. He's going to come to win, but obviously Ben's legit, and he's well rounded, good skill set.
He's one of the best prospects. On the South Wales scene. So
yeah, that's a good fight.
And of course, we've got another prospect making. Well, it's not his pro debut; it's his second fight, but it's his pro debut. It's his debut on the big show, the big Cage Warriors. Although he asked for on
his professional debut on a big card.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. We got Oban Elliott.
We're trying to get Oban on the show. He's great, great guy. Now he dealt with what's his name?
Brett Hassett.
A lot better, not easier than I thought he was going to.
He's a bit special, Oban.
Like I do quite a bit of training with Oban. Obviously, he's a Murphy boy originally. Him and Jack Tucker are good friends. So some weekends he comes and trains with us. And he's good. Like he's very his ground game. Like obviously we know what he's about. He's got bricks in his hands and he comes to try and knock your head off. But he's very athletic. He can wrestle. He can grapple. I've had a lot of wrestling and rolling with him, and he's very good. And his striking. Don, just because he hits hard, I tell people, don't sort of be fooled to think, he's not technical, he just can dig.
He's unorthodox.
He's unorthodox, but he's skillful as well. Like, I watched him spar good level boys. I think he come down the one Monday and done a bit of shark tanking with the bigger boys, and he can be technical when he wants to be as well, and obviously if he clips you, you're in a world of trouble. And I think I can see Oban being, in all honesty, that it's not just me saying it because we're friends. I can see him going on to do big things.
Yeah.
Cage Warriors champion and even further. If
he seems to have the dedication.
Yeah, he's a big guy for lightweight as well.
His warm up on the academy shows and the channels, he was so intense.
Yeah.
it was good to watch because I don't know. I part of me loves that part of fighting and seeing how different one fighter is from another. The psychology part of it. And
what do you like before a fight?
I'm pretty chilled. I don't feel nervous. You know, you have the butterflies now, but I don't feel nervous to the point where like some boys are generally and good boys as well are generally scared before they go. You know, like Jack Tucker. He's a bag of nerves, but he goes out there. Most people, I don't feel.
Everyone reacts differently.
I don't feel that sense of here we go. But it's the butterfly. But I'm pretty chilled throughout the day. You know, to me it's just another day. But then when also you start to warm up, I'm intense, and I don't like a lot of people in the room with me, like in the ice arena, because I was main event last time. They sort of give the main event and the co-main your own changing rooms. It was just me and my lot, and then I cleared it out. You know, the only people I want in there is the coaches, and so it's intense, but it's not intense from the minute I get out fight day to the minute I walk out. You know, I know when to switch it on.
So Oban's fighting Skikem Boali. Don't really know much about him.
No, nothing. Other than he's probably going to get sparked out in the round.
He's a brave man. In fact, going to
well, I don't know. I mean, I know
you can't underrate these European guys all because
where's he from?
I think he's French. No, Greek. He's Greek. Right. And then Oban's saying, but what you got to think is, our records you can find them like that. These Greek guys come in.
The French
guys, they say they've had 2 pro fights. Is some of them have had, like, because it's illegal, they've had 20, 30 amateur fights.
Yeah,
so
it's illegal, and it's like they don't want underground fights. Whereas over here we laugh at that, but over there they got to do it.
It's a problem, and you know when you say underground, you think, oh, that can't be much cop, but
there's no way around it.
There's no way around it round there. You know, to them, like an underground fight is the same as what sort of an amateur show is yours. You know, it's a real fight. So
some good news for French MMA. The Minister of Sport, they've got a new female in charge, and she wants to regulate MMA and legalise in France. So that's fantastic.
Through the IMAF thing, isn't it?
Through IMAF and
it was about time.
French MMA Federation.
There's not many countries left, is there?
No.
I mean, it's France and Norway, is it? And
Norway is still struggled, isn't it? With they fight everywhere but Norway.
Yeah, they've only just allowed boxing, haven't they? It's quite...
So fresh off his win against Rory Evans on the last Cage Warriors Wales, we got Josh Reed coming back against a Belgian guy, De Pape. Good to see Josh back. I mean, you could see how much our win meant to him against Rory. He knew how much. He knew he was under pressure. If he lost that, it would be 3 losses. And
it's like we were talking earlier. It's about styles, and I think what happened with Josh after he lost to Nathaniel is he was looking for a change.
Yeah,
and like you can't change who you are.
He obviously what happened against Nathaniel was just hard luck. But there's no shame in that result because obviously Nathaniel's top level. I think what happened a little bit is obviously probably, you know, and I know I'm with Josh every day. In his head, I imagine he was thinking if I was a little bit more patient in that fight, it'd have been me going on to the big show. So I think against Bulan, he come out a little bit too placid. And I think if he fought Bulan another 10 times, I'd be confident he'd beat him 10 times.
After he fought Nathaniel and before he fought Bulan, I listened to an interview with him. I think Josh is great.
He's a loose cannon.
But I listened, and they said, "Oh, you're gonna see a completely different Josh Reed, a more technical." And I thought, "Don't lose yourself."
Yeah, he's just had an hard run. Do you know what I mean?
That's why he
lost to Bulan. You know, I can't say it was a fluke because nothing in this sport's a fluke. But it was one of them things. I don't think that you'd ever see that result again.
Yeah.
But Bulan's a top level guy, and then obviously he lost to Malone. Again, it's like he just went having the rub of the green, or he just got caught in our armbar. And then obviously had a good win against Rory. And I sort of, on paper, him against Rory may have looked a little bit of a mismatch in the sense that Josh had had 10 pro fights, Rory had had 1 or 2. But I was telling him I haven't sparred with Rory a couple of times and then knowing what he's about, what was he, 10-0 amateur, something like that, Rory? You know, he's legit. I'm beating K1, I'm beating amateur. Got lucky
again, had another bad run.
Yeah, exactly, and they were both in the same boat a little bit. So it was a good win for him, and it was good to see him back to winning. I actually fought De Pape when I fought out in Belgium. So it's an interesting match. I fought him at featherweight.
What's he about?
He's a good striker. He's quite similar to Josh. He's more of a, whereas Josh is in your face, you know, on the inside. He's more of an outside fighter. He can bang as well, and he can wrestle. I think I had him beat before I went in there. You know, I think he fought in Belgium. There was 3,000 odd people there. I think the occasion got him a bit. So it's a tough fight for Josh.
You take out there with
I think I took 60 or 70 out there. So, but it's a tough fight for Josh. But he wins this, he's right back in the mix because this guy's got a good record. He's won his last fight by knockout, and I'm confident.
Right, I know he is now. Yeah.
Not game plan. Style wise, I'm confident that Josh is a bad matchup for him, and Josh.
I think after his last win. Josh,
I think you'll see a little bit more of the old Josh now because obviously when you lose 3 on the bounce, the pressure's going to be on. You're going to be a little bit tentative.
When you never lost and you lose your first one, it's a bit different.
Of course it is. Yeah, it's so. I think now he had that win back in March. The restraints are off him now. I think you'll see you'll see his real style come back out now.
So, and then Chris Evil Edwards, Dez, gotta love Dez. One of the characters of Welsh MMA. Shame we couldn't get him on the show because he's got work, but I love watching him fight. Win or lose, he always comes to fight, always put on the show. He's fighting Abraham, I wish we had
Josh, I think it's Josh Abraham. Yeah.
At featherweight, is it?
Yeah, his last fight was at featherweight as well. Obviously I think he's nearly 30 odd now, Des, and obviously works full time as well. So I think the cut the bant he missed weight once or twice. So I think the cut the bantamweights are just a little bit too much to ask of him. And
when the Greggs runs on him work.
That's it, yeah. You'd be the first to tell her, you know. But he seems a lot more energised now in training. Like I know he lost his last fight. He was unlucky. He didn't
more energised.
Yeah, like, he didn't look himself.
The ADHD kid, like
when he was coming down to bantamweight. First couple of weeks of camp, he's electric. You know, he can compete with anyone in the world. And then also you can see the weight cut gets him a little bit then, as it does with a lot of people. So, but the last fight, I know he didn't get a result, and he won out with his performance. But in camp, he was on fire right up until the week before the fight. The boy he's fighting is a good prospect. He's had a win or two on Cage Warriors himself. I think he's 4-5-1. So it's sort of
the weight thing is a big thing. It's
it is.
People are so different, you know. Like obviously, it's done you good. But not everyone.
But it's like if I had to work full time as well, I can never make bantamweight.
Yeah,
you know, it takes a lot of sacrifice. Everything with me to make the weight is got to be on the money, you know, pinpoint. The diet's got to be bang on. The rest, training,
the rest period,
exactly. Whereas
rest can't be work.
It is hard to do when you're working full time. It then ideal to have to cut. Des walks around. Heavier than me, probably 75, 74 kilos. So it's not.
He looks small.
Yeah, but he's quite. I don't know. He's got big legs. He's got a big Eddie on when he's saying that.
He did have a little blast of flyweight.
He did make flyweight, but
really
he was young then. I think he was 20. Yeah. He was 22, 23.
Good win on flyweight.
But it'd be nice to see him.
He's a Scottish guy. Remember?
Yeah, Brian Islott.
That was so funny because there was a lot of banter before that fight, and then Des tapped him out.
Ruffled his head, did he?
Just walked off laughing. It was like,
but it'd be nice to see him, you know. I'd like to see this fight now you've gone up, for people to see that he's more energised and he's better for it, because the last fight didn't show. You know, he just didn't perform in the last fight. He knew that himself. And the boy's fighting was legit as well. So it's nice. It'll be nice this fight to see. I think this is a good level boy, where he can show his skills as well, you know.
About Des, it might a little bit like we talked about Khalid. He pulls someone out of the bag when he needs to.
He's always dangerous.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit, this isn't working. Bump.
As long as he's in the fight, he's dangerous. You know, he can dig. He throws hard. When he does let his hands go, he throws hard. And his grappling, you know, he's not one of these guys who'll come out and maul you, but he'll just bang a sub up out of nowhere. His transitions
really well.
He's so flexible with his jiu-jitsu. It's like, you know, one minute he's got full guard on you, and then the next thing you know, he's halfway on your back, and you're thinking, I've ended up here. So, you know, I
used to have a nightmare rolling with Des.
Yeah,
I just didn't know where he was.
You look at the people he's fought Des, like you go through his record. Legit. I can't remember the last time he hasn't fought a guy who's very high level. You know, so this fight's nice for him, and I think you'll see him back to winning ways. Yeah. Go on, Rick, get out your system.
The ladies fight. Corey McKenna and Fanny Redmond. That's another great fight. Corey, teenage girl, got everything, like the whole world in front of her. She's currently out. Tell her where she's out.
Alpha male. She's out in California.
Which is interesting because Is it the same weekend as Polaris? Is this one? No?
I don't know.
They normally do them the same weekend, don't
No,
they?
it's not this time. No, I don't think. I think Polaris is June.
It's not. Cause I was going to say...
Because Faber's over for it, yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah, but obviously I haven't seen a lot of Corey this camp because she's been out training at Alpha Male, like you said, one of the best gyms in the world. So and
the little people is brilliant.
She's got all the potential in the world, Corey. You know, when she's home, she jumps in with us a lot in spars and rolls, and she holds her own. And
she was in the IMAF trials. I'd been out.
Yeah.
And it was just funny watching it, and like just she jumped in with one of the boys and they see the legs.
She lives and breathes it. She literally lives and breathes it. This is her life. She doesn't go out or doesn't do anything. This is all she doesn't work. This is all she does. So
brilliant.
She's got all
my mother's a pro fighter as well.
She's got all the potential in the world. She was unlucky with her last fight. I thought she pinched it, but could have gone either way. So this is a. Nice.
I watched it about 3 times.
You have a different opinion, I
thought
but
Cora
she's
was unlucky that. Oh no,
she's took a bit. I think she's took six months off, obviously, to just get over that loss and improve and whatever.
Which is a wise decision when you're that young as well.
Yeah, she's got plenty of time.
And Fanny Redmond is a tough opponent. She's a former IMAF European champion. So again, we were saying off air, when you're in the women's division, there aren't journey women as such. No. Every woman is there to win. So you can't build up against someone and come back against someone who's gonna walk you through. I
think there's not so many journey men anymore, but what you've got is men that will just take the fight whenever they're asked against anyone.
Yeah.
Not believing they can win, not trying to, but
there's
you haven't got that in women.
No, exactly. There's more 50-50 fights in the women's division, especially in Europe, because, like you said, it's either fight someone tough or don't fight at all, because the divisions are not as deep in Europe as they are even in UFC. I'd like to see that. I don't know the exact numbers, but I imagine there's a lot less women in the signed on the roster in their divisions compared to the men. So
that's why they've done quite a few with the tough women houses. Bring them in,
to obviously build the roster a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think this fight, Corey McKenna versus Fanny Redmond's got the potential to be dark horse of fight of the night.
What is his style, that Redmond?
Last time I seen a fight was 2 years ago in Bulgaria, so it's not really fresh in my memory, but I just remember it being quite dominant and really good. So
it'd be to me, it's I think they all sort of got the same style. Like Corey's the same, come forward in your face, good wrestler, good boxer. So like you said, if they collide, then she'll have another. It's a shame they don't do bonuses because I think Corey would probably be looking at getting her third fight the night bonus now. Because in the last fight she lost was definitely fight the night, and the fight she won in Belgium was a close back and forth fight as well.
So when
says the guy who keeps finishing people. It's a shame we don't do bonuses.
I know, yeah. Come on, Graham.
So when's she back from Alpha Male?
I think not long before the fighting. It's about a week or 10 days, something like that. She's gone out for 8 weeks in total. No, because
that's the
last time she left a little bit too cut because when she fought in Belgium, she dieted down to the weight. So she said she wanted to obviously leave a little bit to cut so she could go in a little bit stronger. So, but she's not, she's not cutting 10, 15 pounds. It's going to be 2-3 rounds. But obviously at the women, they go a little bit different to us. They can't cut the weight as easily. So I think that's a smart move on her part anyway, not to be cutting massive amounts of weight.
We got Richardson versus Wells. I don't know either of the guys, but obviously
it's I know a lot about this. This was a rematch.
Over to you, bud.
I did a bit of training with Phil. But basically,
Phil Wells.
Yeah, my mate's his coach, striking coach, or whatever. And he pulled his groin in the first fight.
Right.
As soon as the bell went.
Well, I wondered why they rematched it because I know he had a little bit of an exchange where he nearly caught a foot lock, and then I know Richardson.
But I think that was after the groin pull.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So because Richardson, it was quite a dominant finish. Obviously, got a big. I think he knocked him out, didn't he, with ground and pound?
Yeah.
So I wonder why they rematched it.
I
obviously,
basically said to Phil a couple of weeks ago when we were up in his gym in Swindon, I said, it's nice that we got that rematch after the groin pull. He said, well, yeah, they're good guys, and he fights like me, so I'd love to fight myself.
Yeah. Jamie,
they both go
I fought on the same show as Jamie a couple of times now. I think he's similar age to me. So we'd been around the same shows in the same circuit quite a while, and You know, he's the same as Phil in the sense of he likes to scrap. He's dangerous, and you know, like you watch his fight against Ackland Force. He had an outing for a couple of minutes, and next thing you know, you've sparked him out. So he's another one. He's one of them who can just a little bit like Des in the sense of as long as he's in the fight, he can pull the win out of it anyway.
Yeah, one of the complete enigmas on the card is Aaron Khalid versus Tom Watson. I think it's a great fight, but you don't really know how it's gonna go. Wayne Samways, Aaron's coach, asked me what I thought of it. I was like, well, we don't know what Tom's got left in him. Obviously, it's his first fight at welterweight. It's his first fight in like 3 or 4 years.
One of the factors I think is quite interesting because obviously, right, remembering Tom fighting Jack, you know, at middleweight.
Yeah.
And remembering being the middleweight champion at Bama for a long time for a world champion.
And some legit wins in the UFC as well.
But I can't remember when he went to welterweight. Was it this week?
He hasn't fought a welterweight. He hasn't. This is his first. No, I think this is his first fight at welterweight. So my old man.
That's a very big.
Obviously, my old man's been on this when Jack first started fighting for Bama. He said they were sort of in the same changing room, and then obviously Jack fought him, and he was big for middleweight. So
bigger than Jack.
Oh yeah. So it'd be interesting to see what he's like at welterweight.
Because Aaron is like, I was talking.
Aaron made his pro debut at featherweight. So.
I was talking to Kev Cox the other day about this because Kev's really small. I mean, and I was like, he fought Aaron, and I was like, yeah, but I remember that. And it was like, he wasn't so big, and now it's like he's grown into the weights. Oh, but then sometimes he's fought catch weight, Aaron. So we think of him as he should be lightweight, but then you think, he's not.
You know, I've obviously speak to Aaron and at the shows and the weigh-ins and stuff, and he's a good sized welterweight. Yeah. I think he's grown into the weight because whereas before I don't think he used to cut anything together. You look at him now. I seen him at the last weigh, and you know he done like a proper cut and rehydrated tidy. So
I saw Aaron Saturday night. I was out drinking. I don't go out much. So
you do.
When first time this year, and I went to his club, and he was like, "Rick, you announced my fight on the podcast before it was announced." I was like, oh, I saw it.
Yeah. But by then he'd already put a picture up of a gorilla.
Yeah, get away a lot.
So that's what I said. Fight news coming soon. And it was gorilla. I was like,
they'd announced Watson signing, and so I think everyone knows.
I was like, so you still gonna let me Q jump in? Like,
I like the fight for Aaron. I think
I said to Wayne, grab it with both fans. You know, I think Aaron's got a really good chance here. It's a big name.
He's not expected to win.
Khaled's the dark horse in that division. I'm telling you now, he racks up 2 good wins. Now you beat Watson. I think you'll have a title shot. Like, I can't see why.
We spoke.
How do you not give him a title shot after beating Tom Watson?
It's only Ross really had some.
It's Ross. Ross is fighting Dalby now. So I know Reece McKee has gone up, and they look into. To obviously they're going to try and push him in a welterweight division as well, being a prospect. So maybe you'll fight Reece McKee next, and obviously he's going to.
Interesting fight, and as I say, we don't know how Tom's going to deal with the weight cut. We know Aaron can.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's a complete enigma, and I'm really excited about it. So, of course, is it co-main event?
Yeah. Is this co-main or is Aaron co-main?
I don't know. It's the order K-Joy is with. So
I'm sure Aaron. I don't know. But you have to double check it.
Either way,
this is going to be
Mason Jones versus Desmay.
Mason Jones is one of the most exciting young prospects we got in Wales. He's a complete enigma where he's just never really had an amateur career as such.
Yeah, everyone questioned that.
Done everything. Just done everything else around there. Came from nowhere really, and then is a lot of hype about him, and it's definitely justified.
Oh well, without Mason is just tough as nails. Literally, you know, you talk about people loving a fight, like and it can be an act with some people. With him he could after the fight he's had, he could probably hit the takedown on someone if he wanted, but he just loves to scrap. And and his pressure, what I like about him is he doesn't ease off the gas. So I've sparred Mason quite a bit, with boxing sparring, MMA sparring, and he's one of these. He's just in your face constantly, and if you can't find a way to deal with that, and I can imagine under the lights, with all the crowd, there's no wonder why you just break some people because you can't stop them coming forward.
Yeah.
And Desmay's good as well. Desmay's a good striker, heavy hands himself. I think they're just going to come out and tear it up. But I think Mason is like I said with that pressure. I think it's just, if you can't stop him coming forward, you know, he's tough. He can take a shot. If you can't physically stop him, then you're going to be in for a long night against Mace. Before
we go, someone's got to ask you your opinion on the Jack versus John Battle of Wales.
Here we go.
Everyone wants to know your thoughts.
Obviously, I'm going to be biased. You know, I've grown up with Jack, one of my best friends. Obviously, trained with him all my life.
Do you know what I loved? Your dad telling Jack to stand with him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like
it's like no one in the history of John Phillips has ever said. I was like, that's the way shit.
I love it. Like, tell you back, you're talking about that head kick.
But it's I thought he pinched it just on. John obviously won the first round with a knockdown. I thought Jack pinched the second round.
Jack boxed beautifully.
The third round was close, but I think
it's one of them ones you watch every time you watch it, you'll see something
I
different.
think he pinched it just on activity. Just on, you know, not counter punching, but just on being a little bit more active. Lord John cut him off and walked him down.
I think the deciding factor on that fight is the rule change.
Yeah.
I think
the judging criteria.
Yeah, the judging criteria now compared to last, how long was it changed?
2 years now, I think.
2 years. And not everyone is clued up on the new rules as much as they think. I think with the old rules, it could have been John who pinched it. With the new, only that last round. This is the only round. The third round is the one in question. I think with the new rules, there's more. That's where the argument lies.
Yeah.
Because it's scored differently now. MMA is scored differently. So, we can come back in a minute and talk about it. I think we.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll be back for part 3.
Welcome back to part 3. We didn't normally do a part 3.
I was going to say, am I the first person to a part 3?
No, there was one time when we had too much coffee when it was breath, and we just kept going.
that night. So we obviously we got Jack on. Let me tell you a quick little story. I was driving down here, and then I saw a really nice Mercedes with a personalised license plate. I couldn't catch up with it because we were on like one of them.
Because you were driving a Ford Focus.
we had the average speed checks. I was like, right. So I was up his ass for about at least 10 minutes before like I was gradually like I was like, it is Jack. So obviously you've got a lot of sponsors. There's a chance.
Obviously, my main sponsors Tatami Fight Way. Been sorting me out kit now with it over here for a long time, so always great for them. Jack Evans at B&B Garage, been looking after me since I was a kid, you know, with my fighting. Lee Batch, a Batch Plant, again, another, you know, all these guys that Lee and Jack especially, you know, allow me to continue to train full time, you know, without the stress of having to, you know, worry how am I going to pay for this from day to day. So they really do look after me.
Lee Batchelor's putting a lot into fight sports.
Yeah,
like
he's a good guy. He's a genuine. His boy trains up with us. Just had his blue belt this week, so he's a good guy, Batch, and he looks after us boys.
He had the Patrick Killian.
He had the painting done. He paid for that as a gift for winning the belt. So
I've been trying to get Patrick Killian.
Something he didn't have to do, you know, but it was obviously something I'm going to have that for life now. And ISO Sport as well. I've been with them for a year now. They look after me as well. And also I got a lot of other little sponsors as well who help me out from fight to fight. So I won't name them all because I'll forget someone. So yeah, go on my social media, Jack Show MMA, and they're all over there. Always grateful to them as well for helping me get through the camps with the safe MMA fees and stuff like that, and the camp costs. You know, it goes a long way, and it means, you know, I can put 100% into my training and my fighting and not have to worry about other things. So I'm always grateful to them.
Well, the thing is, you don't work because you're a full-time athlete, but you still went to university and got your degree. So that's so yeah, he
did make me.
That's an intelligent way of looking at things.
Yeah, again, it's credit to my old man and my mother, because after 2 years I'd had a guts for all I wanted to do was fight. And I was like, I'll get a job and I'll just train. And he said, finish it off and you can train full time for 2 years. He said, I'll make sure that you can train full time and we'll see where it goes. And obviously 3 years later I'm still doing it. So it was a wise decision. something I'll always be grateful, obviously, to my parents. I'll never really be able to repay them, I suppose, because obviously without that sort of confidence and
I think you already have, Jack.
And taking that, without that little confidence and taking that, not many people would say to their 18-year-old son, carry on doing what you're doing and we'll look after you.
Another thing I say about your dad, all right, he never pushed you to be a fighter.
No, he tried to, if anything, he probably tried to steer me away from it. Like, I was a half-decent rugby player as a kid. He tried to, he wanted me to go on that route. And I bet at times now he wishes I did, because you see him before a fight, he's worse than me. He's being, I got to tap the wise up sometimes. Like we're about to walk out and he's being sick and he's sweating and he's stressed. Wow. So he suffers a lot worse than me. And obviously,
it's hard.
It's tough. Like
until Reggie starts fighting.
No.
If I ever had a son, I don't think I would ever.
But everyone says that.
But
if you don't want them to do it,
they would want to do it. And like you said, obviously I'm talented at it and I'm good at it. He'd never be able to live with himself, I suppose, if he said, no, you're not doing it. But obviously my other coaches then, Carl, Gary, Greg, they helped to take a bit of the weight off his shoulders a little bit then, because whereas, say, when I was amateur, it was all responsibility was on him. Now, they sort of share the responsibility a little bit, and I think...
I suppose they can step in when they see him.
Yeah, well, like, in the warm-up and stuff, Gary, he's that nervous, my old man. When the fight starts, he's on the money. He don't stop all the way through.
I know they done a video after December, as the kids was on the highlight reel.
Yeah.
And then they had your dad celebrating.
Yeah.
And you could just see, like I said, you already paid him by
the
flat, I think, in December.
Well, he cried after that. December, so
it was the emotion he must go through.
Yeah, it's tough for him, but obviously, like, when the fight starts, he's on the money. He doesn't. Yeah.
Another thing about your dad as well, in your gym, there's no favoritism because you're his son.
No, definitely not.
I trained at Toledo Combat for a good couple of years, and
he told me Des was his favourite.
It's a son he never wanted.
I felt that man management with each and every fight there, and it's not just because you're this. Of course, it's a lot more emotional stress because you are his son. But he lives every fight with his fighter.
Like I've seen him when Marshman fought in the UFC, his first fight. He was exactly the same for how he is for my fight. Nervous. Could see that he was genuinely nervous. He was being sick and stuff like that. And I've seen him like it with Josh, when Josh fought in the final for the belt I cornered, and he was the same man. He's got that sort of, don't be honest, a little bit different climb. His son, obviously, he's done one we get hurt or whatever, but he's like out of everyone. Like he's emotionally invested in all of us, and I think which is why he's so successful as a coach. But obviously Gary and Carl as well, they helped to take over during the warm-up just to ease his nerves a little bit, I think. Sometimes him saying nothing is the best thing for the environment, because he doesn't want to portray that nerves. But in all credit to him, when the bell rings to go to start, he's switched on then, he doesn't let the nerves take over then.
Right then, Tank, I know you've got to shoot because you got trained for the third time today. You've already been training twice.
Yeah, and another one tonight. Is the session 3 or 4. So
session
busy man.
3 or 4. So you're training 2 more times
twice today. Yeah, S&C now, and then BJJ tonight.
Fair play. That's an athlete. But before we go,
he's a good mate.
Euros, our director over there, waving behind the camera. He's been out in Tokyo, schmoozing about, working hard. He only flew back in yesterday, and the first thing
he don't know what day it is.
He doesn't know what day it is. First thing he does is he's filming our podcast. But we got a few shout outs, a few new partners to MMA Wales. MFP, that's Musburger Fight Promotions. Thank you. I gotta do this like this. And of course, love hemp water.
It's not the same as Budweiser, is it?
Tastes really great.
I hope I saw Sport on sack me off. I'll be coming to him looking for a sponsorship.
Of course, Zebra Mat and Jim King Fight Division as well. Thank you all for supporting MMA Wales. Thanks for coming on again, Jack. Good luck in your fight.
One thing, is tickets still available?
Yeah, tickets still available online, or get in touch with me direct. He's looking to be a sellout, so they won't.
Because he hasn't got enough people to drop tickets to.
Yeah. You will have to pick them up. I'm not real deal, but there's looking to be a sellout. So I imagine next week or 2 they'll be gone. So be quick.
Another thing, James flies out to Thailand tonight to get married. Congratulations.
Fate of my life, yeah. So I'll be missing the fight again. But
I had a show that night in somewhere, and that's been cancelled. I think it was in Bath, so I might come along. I'll either buy a ticket and get drunk with everyone, or get press pass and be responsible. I'm decided yet.
Responsible.
Be responsible, yeah. I sit close to the front then. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.